Hello and welcome back to another edition of All Things Eastern. I'm your host, Patti Dobson, and today I have two filmmakers extraordinaire with us who are going to tell us about a pretty exciting film project. Why don't you invite yourselves? Why don't you introduce yourselves?
You invited us, and
True.
we are very happy that you did. Thank you. My name is Jonathon Barr. I'm an assistant professor here in the Department of Theater and Digital Filmmaking, and this is...
I'm Shelly Short. I'm also an assistant professor in the Department of Digital Theater and Digital Filmmaking.
And we are getting ready to make a short film that we're very excited about. It is called Orgullo, which is Spanish for pride. And it's the story of Reynalda, who is a New Mexican Hispanic grandmother, and her daughter and granddaughter, the relationship that they all have. This grandmother is very proud of her Hispanic heritage, and she's also somewhat estranged from her daughter and granddaughter. So this story takes place when she has the first opportunity to babysit her granddaughter. And in that time, she tells her granddaughter, who's misbehaving a little bit, the story of La Llorona, which is a spooky, creepy folk tale that is any Hispanic New Mexican knows that story.
Yes.
And of course, this gives the granddaughter nightmares. And then the daughter confronts her mother, and they come to a dramatic understanding, let's say, right?
Yeah.
And so this is a story that was written by a student, a now former student in one of my classes, and she asked me for suggestions after the class was over. And at reading it, I thought, I would actually love to make this movie because I can see it, and I could see it being an exciting story. And another interesting thing about this movie is that the middle part where she tells the story, that's going to be told through animation. And also another former student, Brandon Carter, is directing the animation. So.
Well, this is really something, because not only is it a collaboration with the two of you, but there are students involved, and this has been going on for a while.
Yes. The story was originally written a couple years ago, and we have been trying to get it made, and we actually were able to get some money from the university to help pay for a part of it, specifically hiring current students to work on the film, which is great, and it gives them a great experience and a professional credit on their resume. And now we've also hired professional SAG actors, which is Screen Actors Guild, the professional actors, to play two of the main leads, and we've cast the other two roles. And so it's actually happening. We got great locations and great actors, a great script.
How long does this whole process take? Because, the play itself was written a couple of years ago, and the idea to put the animation in the middle to tell the story with animation, was that part of the original writing, or is this something that you guys came up with, or how did that come about? I mean, because that's unusual.
Yeah, the animation part, when Brianna Delgado brought me this script after she'd written it in my class, then she said, well, I really think this is a good story. I'd like to get suggestions on how to make it better. And so we were talking about some of the story beats that she was working on. But as we were talking about it, I said, I could see this middle part being animation, and I thought it would be a fun and exciting film for me to direct. And I said, because I knew that wasn't really what she was focusing on right then. I said, this is something I would like to actually direct. And she said she would love that. And so that sort of started the ball rolling. That was about almost 2 years ago now. And it took us a while. At first we couldn't raise the money that we needed. And now we've gotten about half the money that we need, and we're doing a crowdsourcing to get the other half, which I'm really hoping that we'll get.
That was a lovely segue to my next question. You said that the university actually supplied or contributed some of the money for this. How are you going to raise the rest of it? It's through a fundraising effort, but people like me or other people who are interested could help fund this project.
Yeah, and Shelly's our producer, so she can probably speak to that.
Yeah, I've had success before in crowdfunding for a film that I did a couple years ago, and one of the great things about it is being able to present the film prior to filming it, and really getting other people involved with the funding of it, and having them have a piece of the film themselves, even if they can't be there on set, or
It's still
yeah,
ownership.
it's still some type of ownership, and we all have friends and family who want to support our creative endeavors, and so it's a great way for them to do that, to see what we're doing, and then also to receive some kind of I guess a pledge. When they pledge, they get something in return, like a copy.
Perk or
Yeah, perk.
incentive.
Yeah. So, like a copy of the film itself, or personalization of a storyboard or something like that. So they have a little bit of piece of the film, and they also feel like they did something to help with it. So it gives them an opportunity to support us, and it's a really great way to get the little extra money that we do need to move forward in the project.
Now, how would somebody donate to the effort if they wanted to? How do you do that?
It's through Indiegogo, and the website, we posted it on Facebook, both John's Facebook and mine, and you could go there and be able to see it.
Yeah, I don't have a specific link for it
Right.
to give
We
you.
can load that for you.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's if you go to Indiegogo and you search Orgullo, is Orgullo, you should
able to
you
pull
should
it
be able
up.
to pull it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and when we load this, we'll actually include a link so that people could click and go.
Great.
That's great.
How long does the process take? Are you going to start filming this weekend?
We're starting next weekend, the 16th and 17th, and Shelly is scheduling it so that we can do it in 2 days. The live action portion we'll do in 2 days.
Right.
And we have the locations set, and we're working on getting some costuming and props and stuff together. But
And normally, every production's different as far as the timing goes. With John's project, we were able to start back in the beginning of March, getting it set up and ready, and making decisions on what students would help, where we would get locations, and how we would obtain the extra funds that we needed for food and to take care of our actors. So it's been a couple of months for this particular project, and going into post, it'll be another couple of months afterwards, getting that secure. So I'd say about 4 or 5 months.
there's filmmaking. They have 5 stages of filmmaking. The first one is development, and that's sort of the phase from when we started with the script till when we said, okay, we're definitely going to make
We're
this.
doing this.
Yes.
Right, right.
And that's the we're doing this. We finally got to that point when we fixed a date, like late February, early March, and when Shelly came on board, and then that phase from the we're doing this to when you shoot is called pre-production, and that's where we are now. And then production is going to be 2 days for principal photography, and then we're also at the same time working on the animation. The animation is going to be a significant labor, time commitment. Obviously, animation takes a long time, and Brandon's doing great with that. I've seen some of the initial stuff. It's really exciting. One of the cool things is our animation style is inspired by folk art, and so it's not going to be exactly realism. We're looking for very expressionistic, and I think the images and the figures are going to be interesting too, because they're not exactly folk art, but they are sort of a homage to folk art, and so I think that makes this story in particular, I think it really works.
Now, are students involved throughout the entire process with this, where it's student written and you've got student actors along with your professional actors? Will they be helping with the shooting and then everything that comes after?
Yes. We were fortunate enough to receive a grant from the university and, to hire students, and so For most of the roles outside of mine and John's role, we have covered them with students that will be, taken care of through the grant. One particular is our director of photography, Avery Pelsman. He is in charge of working with John to create a visual style for the film, and then along the way we have other students as well. So from script supervisor to second AD to first and second AC, all covered by students. So it's going to be a really great project to see, for them to have the opportunity to work with two professionals outside of the classroom, and to give them the experience of doing a shoot professionally.
One thing I'll say too is just to clarify, the 4 actors are none of them are students. So when we say roles of students, it's production roles.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Shelly touched on that is great is when you work with union actors, you have to follow very specific procedures,
Real strict guidelines.
real strict
correct?
guidelines,
Yes.
and we have to pay a certain amount of money to bring them here, to put them up, to pay them while they're here, to pay their pension. You have to follow like strict paperwork handling things, and so that is something that the students will experience in the real world. And so I'm excited because this is the first time we've had a production that we're doing at that level, and I think it's really going to be a valuable learning experience for the students.
Well, and what is really exciting is that people have the opportunity not only to help faculty members make this happen, but helping with the effort in getting the film produced will help students as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, if people want to donate to this, and we'll post the link again, they have until the 19th of April to, is that correct?
Yes, the 19th of April is the last day.
Okay.
I have to say one other thing too,
Sure.
just for that we're not allowed to say it's a donation because that means it's a nonprofit, and we don't have nonprofit status on our project, so it's a contribution to
Okay.
help support us.
Okay. So if
Just for legal
people would
purposes.
like to make a contribution,
And in fact, I'll say one thing, that if anyone's interested in contributing, and if you're local, we have like relatively local, we have a special hidden perk that $25 gets you a dozen tamales homemade by Brianna the screenwriter and myself. We're going to have a day that we make tamales, and anyone who gives $25 that's local, within delivery distance.
Sign me up.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I was waiting for that actually too.
So we've actually had several people that contributed that once that perk came up, because they're like, yeah, we want the tamales, and it's.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I was doing it anyway,
Yeah.
but the tamales,
You're great at
it's
that.
it's a definite perk.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we appreciate that.
Well, this is really exciting, and I know that it's several months out before the film is actually complete, but I'd love to have you come back, and maybe we could do some kind of event where we can preview a little bit of the film and before an opening or something.
That would be great.
That would be
It'd be a lot of fun.
Our intention is to get this film into festivals and to tell this story primarily, but I think it'll also highlight the work that is possible here and what our students are learning, and I think that's exciting too.
Right. It really is, and it's a fantastic opportunity for students, and it's wonderful to get your work out there as well. Well, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having us.
Yes, and we thank you for joining us. My name is Patti Dobson. We hope you will join us again for a future edition of All Things Eastern, and we'll keep you posted on the creation and making of Orgullo.